We had recently lost our 8-year-old shepherd lab pretty quickly to cancer. We found out he had cancer, and within 2 weeks he was gone. So within like 3 weeks after that, kind of after the emotional torrent of it, the rescue reached out and asked if we would take this little Chihuahua that was 1.8 pounds.
Yeah, she was tiny.
She was 1.8 pounds when we got her, but she had a really severe case of hydrocephalus.
Come here, Ellie. Here she goes. She's my little springy girl. She got those springs in her leg.
We had her for 7 weeks, and she was, like I said, she had open fontanelles on her head. So after 7 weeks, she actually ended up passing out the neurologist. But we had spent 7 weeks of diving down the hole of hydrocephalus and figuring out like what we could do and how to make it easy. We were syringing food to her and water to her. I mean, she was in and out of the ER so much. I had just had so much loss. 3 days later, I was laying in bed and was very emotional, and on Instagram did #hydrocephaluspuppy. And the very first video that popped up was Bernie, and saw the before video of him from SEVN. And that hit really close to home, like the really close circling and the yelping. We had spent 7 weeks dealing with that, and it just felt like he needed me to love him. And I felt like it was such a waste of my time and effort to find out so much about hydrocephalus to not give it to him.
We knew immediately something was wrong with him. Bernie couldn't lift his head, he had no energy, he couldn't stand up, and we didn't know what the cause was, but of course once they did the exam, they did think that it was neurological.
When we first met Bernie, he was quiet, he was able to walk but very weak in all 4 legs, turned to the left constantly, and had a very prominent kind of dome-shaped forehead. Bernie's MRI revealed extensive hydrocephalus, which are these bright white fluid-filled expansions within his brain. Bernie's prognosis was quite guarded, but surgery was thought to give him the best potential for improvement, with somewhere in the neighborhood of a 50 to 60% chance for improvement after surgery. We performed ventriculoperitoneal shunting, which is creating a connection between the fluid-filled pockets in his brain and his abdomen to allow drainage of that fluid out of his brain through his abdomen. In the coming weeks after surgery, there were great improvements both in his level of energy, his interaction, his ability to walk, his strength and coordination all improved over a 3 or 4 week period.
To see a success story from it, I just knew that we had to have him, because it kind of felt like it was the next step that maybe would have happened with Ellie, but how perfect, even if he was in Florida. I mean, we would have flown anywhere in the United States to get that little bugger.
It was the perfect fit. They had all the experience in the care needed to provide Bernie an amazing life. They flew down from Pennsylvania and picked him up within 3 months of us having Bernie.
The way Bernie's changes is he's just brought so much happiness into our house. And maybe it's because we are not used to little dogs, but everything he does makes us giggle.
It's funny because we were going to give away our piano, and my husband was tuning the piano, and Bernie came running around the corner and popped a squat right by the piano and started like howling, like singing and like loving it. We are forever indebted to SEVN for what they did. I mean, it's miraculous. And every time I feel that little tube that goes down his side, I'm always just like, because you'd never know that he's, I guess, a medically fragile dog, because he is a warrior.
We live for the happy stories. So one good outcome actually outweighs the other 10 that what we might not be successful in, but we keep doing it for that one special case. We can't help everybody, but we can certainly try.
So every day we let him live his life like to the fullest. He goes like on walks with his brothers, he runs around the backyard, he goes crazy, because you don't know how long he's going to be here.
But we gave Ellie the best 7 weeks we could, and she had a better life because of it, and our plan is to do that for Bernie.